Hello friends, Doug Gaffney here, entrepreneur leadership coach, real estate investor, and president of ERS Home Services. And what I like to do is introduce you to ERS, which technically stands for Elite Realty Services, but for us visionaries and system builders, what it really stands for is our early retirement system by way of ownership. Essentially, we hire, recruit, and develop the best talent to function as elite professionals within a specific niche that allows our companies the unique ability to service our clients in more areas than just one, with our premier execution of real estate, mortgage, insurance, and home services. So allow me to give you an example. A client, they purchase a home, obviously leveraging a real estate agent. They leverage a mortgage, all right, and they protect that home and their family by way of insurance, and they potentially go solar, so that way they can reduce their overall costs and increase their savings. What we call go solar and invest the difference. So in summary, there's a home purchase, a mortgage that was used, which is typical, all right, and generally when you own a home, you have to insure that property. Of course, you want to protect, the estate of your family and overall protection of your wealth. And if you go solar, there's an added benefit there. Ultimately, we're all desiring a more safe and secure financial future, and helping you create, grow, protect, and transfer your wealth is our primary mission objective. This is why each of our elite professionals' first task is to work with you to develop a sound TLC wealth plan. A talk with one of our elite professionals could be as simple as helping you buy that perfect home, identifying the right fit of a mortgage that suits or best fits your needs, or identifying the most suitable insurance protection that meets the demands of you and your family's assets overall, and also identifying what is the best overall setup for a solar system on your roof. Or it can be as deep as, where do you and your family see yourselves in the next 5 to 10 years? A wealth game plan with one of our elite professionals is vital and key. Let me share with you why. See, for most, we ultimately want to live and enjoy a better life, a better quality of life, where we have control over our time and really, we have leverage that way we can do the things that we really passionately enjoy to do with this one life that we have. And see, that requires the creation of residual income, which requires a strategic and sound game plan. Robert Kiyosaki explains it best when he talks about the 4 quadrants in which we can create income. Allow me to share with you. So as you can see, we have 4 quadrants that Robert Kiyosaki talks about, and obviously we're pretty familiar with primarily the left side, where you function as an employee, where 5% of the wealth is at, okay? But obviously you're trading your time for money here, and then if, generally people transition down to this S quadrant as self-employed, which we begin to find or realize that really what you're doing is you're owning your own job. And so what Kiyosaki explains very eloquently is that if you really want to create the lifestyle your goals and dreams and vision demand, you have to develop some form of residual income, which requires you creating some form of a business system, okay, so such as a Starbucks franchise or something along those lines, some form of a system to where you're allowing to leverage of the systematic leverage of OPT, other people's time, okay, and you can also function in the I quadrant where OPM comes into place, other people's money. You're allowing your money to work systematically in return for you, such as like real estate investing or stock market or what have you, okay? Another type of income that you really want to focus on is the difference between linear and residual income, because again, we're talking about lifestyle here, and residual income is what we're truly after. So if you obviously the moment you stop along this linear line, your income stops as well. And eventually with residual income, the end goal is, let's say for example, you have real estate property, and I'll get into an example later that explains this a little bit more deeply, but the goal is to have your residual income continuously perpetuate dollars, okay? So that way, or thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, so that way you can live and enjoy the benefits of your time and have ultimate leverage and control of your life. So let's consider 3 scenarios, because we're talking about residual income and safety and security, correct? Let's think about an attorney, a general contractor, and also let's say a pharmacy technician. And let's say this attorney is making $300,000 a year. They have a great cash flow, but and they obviously, let's say they own their own practice that's worth maybe $1 million, okay? But at the end of the day, if they don't come in to produce the income, similar to a self-employed person, they're not going to get the income monthly in a residual form. It's more linear. And let's take into consideration a general contractor that also owns their own practice. Okay, they own their own business. All right, and let's say the business is worth $1 million as well. They as well don't have a system in place that's going to perpetuate them the form of residual income. So let's say, for example, they get hurt or injured in the field. They're still trading time for dollars. All right, and let's say for example, the pharmacy technician, and let's say that pharmacy technician is making $50,000 a year, okay? And let's say that this pharmacy technician over the last 10 years acquired 10 real estate assets that are valued at $2 million and creating a residual cash flow of $3,500 a month. Who has more flexibility, time control, leverage, and really, more safety and security, especially when you're speaking within the context of residual income? See, all of us can position ourselves with the right setup as long as we have the right plan. So think about it for a minute. Who has more security and safety within the linear or the residual scenario or setup, right? Which side of the quadrant would you want to be on? See, our company is growing and seeking more talent to partner with us as elite professionals and eventually become one of our branch owners, our elite branch owners around the nation. Why? Because we look at our branches as community resources and educational hubs, okay? Wealth is created and transferred through the education or the exchange of the right education and really execution. Let me just share with you for a second. Think about this. The typical retirement age is age 65. That's what we all generally say, right? Now, why is it that people say 65? I mean, in reality nowadays, the average person is retiring at age 72, right? But the goal is between 59 or 65 or whenever you want it to be. So think about that for a second. Imagine if you position yourself to own a home, because again, the system was set up in such a way, if we think about it, a 30-year typical mortgage. So between the age of 25 and 35, the goal was, okay, for a person to own their home by the age of 65. Because what happens at the age of 65 when you're away from your job? Generally, you reduce your income, so the expectation is you reduce your overall bills. Well, let's look at the statistics as far as how many people actually work along that or in accordance to that plan, right? So if you're not positioning yourself to begin to own that first home between the age of 25 and 35, and if you're not positioning your lifestyle in such a way to where you're contributing towards retirement at an earlier age, you're really setting yourself up behind the curve, okay, and possibly out for failure. And I know one thing certain: we don't never necessarily plan for failure. The problem is we fail to plan. So really think deeply about why, the question of why should I create myself a strategically sound plan that helps me create, grow, protect, and transfer my wealth. And let me just kind of put it in perspective. For me, I have my 5-year-old son, okay? And when I think of my overall family needs and the lives I can impact in the world through my service and the vision of faith that I have, a residual income of, let's say, $5,000 a month, with potential equity in a property, or properties that can grow over time, and eventually having these properties to where they're paid off over time, because generally a typical 30-year mortgage or 15-year mortgage or 20-year mortgage, these properties can be paid off, right? So, you know, when I think about that, I just think about, you know, my son being able to go to college without having to worry about, you know, the cost of the education, or even the cost of housing, because he can live in one of my homes, or, you know, my family can build upon an additional step, okay, for the future generations to come, all right, through the assets that I create and accumulate and transfer and I set up right. I can also devote more time to, you know, my passion spiritually to the needs of others through my servant leadership, and so that, you know, my love and passion for serving others can go a lot more further, but I need more time. I needed more time to do that. This is why our system is so unique, and it begins with a plan, a TLC wealth plan. You see, we have 5 areas that we focus on primarily. Number 1, we want to help you create your TLC wealth plan, and for obvious reasons, okay? Once that plan is in place, and let me just kind of give you a little bit more perspective, as I said I would share with you. You know, let's say, for example, for me, my vision was to own 10 properties or 15 or 20 properties, but let's just simplify and say 10. Imagine if those 10 properties, okay, those 10 properties were a $1,000 mortgage, all right, and the rent was, let's say, $1,350, okay, $1,350. Now, obviously, I can take about $350 per property times 10. That's $3,500 per month. $3,500 a month in positive cash flow. And let's say, for example, it took me 5 or 10 years to put this all into place. Positioning, right? The key here is I'm doing this just as much as you're doing this for something greater or bigger than you. You know, for me, it's to provide housing, maybe for my military veterans, you know, also to own home ownership, so that way I can pass this wealth to my generations of my son, right? But you also have to think about what happens if tomorrow doesn't come? What happens if next week or next month or next year doesn't come? The vision is right now. And so the value in this message in creating a strategically sound plan is protecting that vision as well. See, that's why step number 2 is insurance. Life insurance. And I'm not talking about your typical life insurance, okay? We have various products that we use that are life insurance, almost like on steroids, to where you can grow a tax-free retirement, okay? But if you're able to, let's say, for example, 10 properties, if they were at about $150,000 a piece, 10 properties, $150,000 a piece, that's $1.5 million. Imagine you can have, you know, insurance protection in that amount, so that way if anything happens to you at the end of the day, think about that. You can either provide the achieved assets to your family, or number 2, you can at least, based on your plan, have that funds as a means to provide for your friend, your family, your kids as your wealth. Either way, the end result is still provided through your protection. So this is why number 3 is achieving the American dream and just asset accumulation overall through real estate and mortgage. All right, because through our real estate and our mortgage division, we want to help you out as well. Find that perfect home or in investment properties. And number 4, obviously we want to help you gain control within all those elements of those properties, so that way you're able to increase your savings by way of maybe solar, right? But what can you do with that solar? Again, our motto is go solar and invest the difference, because you can invest that into something that's going to be growing with more compound interest as far as your retirement game plan. And number 5, you know, it all begins with the underlying root of ownership. Ownership, and as you can see, as a center of ownership is ERS, because that's what we stand for. It's helping you gain ownership, develop a sound plan, achieve wealth, and ultimately live a better life. Own your plan, own your protection, own your home, own your solar, own your life. That's what we stand for, and that's what we want to help those that are serious do. So most importantly, our elite professionals offer our premier services with the old saying, begin with the end in mind. Talk to one of our elite professionals today and gain your personalized custom TLC wealth plan. You know, whether you're wanting to buy that first home or that 12th home, or you know, you're wanting to protect your estate or create an estate, or you wanting to develop a more safe and secure and more residually oriented tax-free retirement, we're here to provide you the tools, the resources, and most importantly, the support and education that you need, you know, combined with the compassion of our TLC model, our total living concept. You know, in closing, you know, our primary focus is to provide you with the ultimate client experience. You know, one of the things that I know is generally when you go to a financial planner or whomever, you know, they generally tell you if you don't make enough money, you're gonna have to either save more, okay, or spend less, or a combination of the two. And oftentimes, you know, we're just not in the right financial scenario to put money aside the way that we should or we really need to really gain that retirement scenario that we're looking for. And so I say that to say, you know, we also have a great partner program to where you can work with us in a structured format and leverage and increase potential of income on a side, you know, so that way it can help you not only gain the additional income and resources you need to perpetuate the retirement scenario you want in the near future, but it can also surround you in an environment that's all-encompassing and provides you the educational nourishment that you may need in order to really develop the kind of lifestyle, stability, safety, and security that you really want, maybe the next 5 or 10 or 20 years. All right, again, knowledge is power, and at the end of the day, I want you to just take a moment and think about, where do you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years from now? Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be? And if you believe and feel from all that's in you that a TLC wealth plan is something that definitely is something you need, which we definitely believe that everyone needs it, then get with us today. Our information is here, all right? Or click on the information below or read some information below so that way you can maybe check out some of our individual features about real estate or mortgage or insurance or solar in particularly, all right? But at the end of the day, we want you to get your free TLC wealth plan and just see exactly where things could be for you based on what we know with our elite professionals and our premier services. Hey, thank you guys for watching. We look forward to meeting you in person and shaking hands or providing a great hug. We're a great family-oriented company, and we look forward to helping you and us all achieve some great things. Lord bless, and we look forward to meeting you.